Honorable Minister for External Affairs, Honorable Minister for Communications, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor to propose the vote of thanks on the conclusion of the formal part of the Ministerial Session for this 8th session of the Delhi Dialogue. We are grateful that in her keynote address, Honorable Minister for External Affairs, Srimati Sushma Swaraj, has mapped out fully how India envisages a deeper, wider, and more multifaceted relationship with ASEAN, with whom we share a common civilizational space. We welcome and appreciate the presence of so many ASEAN dignitaries with us this evening. Some amongst them have had an arduous itinerary because of the ASEAN-US summit held in California over the preceding 2 days. The Delhi Dialogue has evolved into a composite and productive annual forum over the past 7 years for discussing key strategic and economic issues between ASEAN and India. That the dialogue has grown in importance is shown by the robust participation this year of diverse stakeholders. We began yesterday with a meeting of the captains of business and industry and their associations, a meeting that stretched a whole day for the first time in 8 years. We heard from Dr. Jyotsna Suri how productive that meeting was. Today we heard from ASEAN dignitaries and from the chief ministers of Nagaland and Mizoram. And tomorrow, practitioners, political public personalities, and academicians will explore more fully the new paradigm of ASEAN-India relations. They will consider ways to impart momentum to these relations as we approach the silver jubilee of ASEAN-India relations next year. ASEAN is the fulcrum of India's Look East policy and the keystone of a new security architecture in Asia. The core focus this year has been on deepening economic linkages throughout the region. Our exchanges have been constrained in the past by connectivity gaps and the absence of value chains. We heard much about these during the discussions this evening. Implementation of the agreed plan of action for the ASEAN-India partnership for peace, progress, and shared prosperity over the next 5 years should help us overcome these constraints. India is committed to working creatively on all aspects of connectivity, whether commercial exchanges and investments, or transportation, or energy, or information and communication technologies, or the most important of all, the people-to-people linkages. And now it's my pleasant duty to record our deepest appreciation to Excellencies Dr. Sofyan Jalil, Minister for National Development Planning of Indonesia, Mr. U Tin U Lwin, Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs of Myanmar, Mr. Somchit Inthamit, Vice Minister of Industry and Commerce, Laos, Mr. Lahoy Trung, Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs of Vietnam, Mr. Virasakti Phutrakul, Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, Mr. Vikram Nair, Chairperson of the Government Parliamentary Committee for Defense and Foreign Affairs of Singapore, Mr. Khan Parid, Under-Secretary of State, Cambodia, Mr. Claro Cristobal, Director General of Foreign Service Institute of the Philippines, Mr. Datuk Naimun Ashkli Muhammad, High Commissioner of Malaysia to India, Mr. Dato Faduka Sidek Ali, High Commissioner of Brunei Darussalam, Dr. AKP Mokhtar, Deputy Secretary General of Community and Corporate Affairs of the ASEAN Secretariat, and Her Excellency, Mrs. Teresita Daza, Ambassador of Philippines to India. And continuing with the previous tradition that we had established of inviting key Northeastern state chief ministers, this evening we had the honor of having 2 of the leaders from there, Honorable Chief Minister of Nagaland, Mr. Jeliang, and Honorable Chief Minister of Mizoram, Mr. Than Havla. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to Secretary East in the Ministry of External Affairs, Shri Anil Vadva, Joint Secretary ASEAN, Ms. Pooja Kapoor, and their team, and to thank all our partner and associate institutions, the Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the ASEAN-India Center at RIS, the Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia in Jakarta, Institute of South Asian Studies, Singapore, Institute of Strategic and International Studies, Malaysia, Institute of Security and International Studies, Thailand, the SAEA Group Research, Singapore, the Diplomatic Academy of Vietnam, the Indian Council for World Affairs, the All India Association of Industries, the Associated Chambers of Commerce and Industry of India, the Confederation of Indian Industry, Indian Chamber of Commerce, Kolkata, Indian Council for Research on International Economic Relations. They have all contributed to our dialogue in myriad ways, and I thank them all. Tomorrow, on 19th February, IDSA is hosting the academic session of the Delhi Dialogue from 9 a.m. in the morning, and we feel privileged inviting all of you to join this session as well. And at the end, I'd like to express our gratitude to all of you once again for your participation in this dialogue and for the investment that all of you are making to promote closer relations between ASEAN and India. It's been a real pleasure to have you with us. Thank you all very much. Namaste and good evening.